They actually have all of the risk. Every OEM on the planet, okay, is focused on their market share in EVs. All right, so they have the most to lose. Not a $55 billion market cap company like GM, which is going to, they're going to be around in 100 years, GM, okay? Like, the jury's still out, in my opinion, whether Tesla's going to be around. And you can say, well, they're not particularly profitable and this, that, whatever. But, like, that's the way I think about it. Who's got the most to lose? It's not GM and Ford.
In today's video, I'm kind of picking on the dumb kid. I'm not going to lie. I ordinarily wouldn't punch down intellectually, especially not this far, but bro, if you have a platform, a voice, and it's amplified, you're in the mainstream finance media, which automatically pedestalizes you and gives you unearned authority in the eyes of many viewers, I think in that situation, it's okay for the gloves to come off, just so I can respond. And you did hear correctly, this is not a deep fake. He actually just said the GM will be around in 100 years, but maybe not Tesla. If I didn't know any better, I think that Dan here might in fact be a diversity hire from CNBS, not based on the color of his skin, his sexual orientation, or his perceived victimhood and oppression, but the size of his brain. I mean, in fairness, potatoes probably should be allowed to share their opinions on Tesla as well, so why not? And while we're on the subject of Tesla, the stock soared today, up almost 8%, closing just under $200 per share. Year to date, fairly solid start from a very low base, up well over 80%. Over the last 1 year, however, still down over 40%. I've got a funny feeling that once the Fed realizes they've done more than enough to utterly destroy the US economy and cause knock-on effects globally, and then begin to aggressively reverse course, I think it's possible that Tesla may move just a tiny bit higher. Maybe. But what would I know? I'm just some idiot on the internet. Oh, and speaking of me being a dumbass, if you'd like to hear over 300 of my exclusive dumbass takes, head over to Patreon. You can join with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. There are over 300 exclusive videos and counting. You can join with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment.
Wrong in the earnings. I'll be the first to say it. You know, when in 155 I said fade it, you have to. It's had a huge move off 103. That was wrong. But then as it approached the 200-day moving average around 219, 220, on this show we said it has a date with 165. Go back and look a week and a half or so ago. 163.86 bounce from there. You continue to trade the stock in those ranges. It probably trends back up to 210. Then you fade the sucker again, Melms.
I don't think I will ever understand the trader mentality. Our friend here just opened up by saying, well, last time I told you how to trade Tesla stock, I was dead f***ing wrong. But here we are again. Let me tell you how to trade Tesla stock. This is the stocks casino. You may get lucky, but that's the only way you'll be making money. This is also a brilliant way to miss out on incredible opportunities. Most people have to pay capital gains tax. Most people have to pay short-term capital gains tax on short-term gains. If you're trading around a stock, every time you lock in a profit, you've got to allocate a little bit of capital to pay your capital gains taxes. Now you've got less money to reinvest in the future. This is not a winning strategy. Again, it may work out. You may be the exception to the rule. Why not just look for a great long-term opportunity, buy and hold? Not exciting enough, is it? Now look, credit where it's due. At least this guy's willing to admit he was dead f***ing wrong.
Here's a public service announcement. Dan is going to talk about Tesla right now. So if it bothers you that he's going to be bearish.
What does that mean?
You know, just
TSA.
This is unbelievable. Now, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'll know what's going on here. I've previously observed Melissa Lee trying to maintain her composure, trying and failing, not to give away what she's really thinking with her facial expressions, as Dan, the DMF of all DMFs, has emotionally fueled tantrums and rattles off a bunch of absolutely absurd TSLAQ talking points regarding Tesla. The fact that Melissa Lee has just warned the audience, I believe, is her low-key way of saying, hey guys, Dan is about to embarrass himself again, have a tantrum again. I'm going to pretend that I'm not laughing on the inside and thinking, what a fucking little bitch. This guy's losing his shit. He's a moron. But I don't want to say that, so instead I'm just going to warn everybody, Dan's about to talk about Tesla, aka grab your fucking popcorn. The funniest thing of all is I don't believe Dan realizes that Melissa Lee here is low-key roasting him. I've never heard Dan say a single thing that makes sense about Tesla. I have heard Dan say a lot of things that make no sense about Tesla. I've also watched this guy chuck tantrum after tantrum. I don't like to punch down intellectually, but if you're in the mainstream finance media, if you have a loud platform, all bets are off. You say something dumb, I'll point it out. Now, I haven't seen what Dan's about to say, but I have a funny feeling that it probably won't make sense. It's probably going to be 100% emotional. Melissa Lee will struggle to keep a straight face. She'll be sitting going, damn dude, I wonder when the last time this guy's wife wanted to suck his dick was. And then she'll realize, oh, probably never. I didn't say that out loud. Over to you, Dan.
I'm going to sound a lot smarter than you think, Mel.
Bro, he's mad already. He's triggered already. The emotions are coming out already. He's already defensive. This is so funny. I Can't wait. Dan, please entertain us with your extremely valid, reasonable takes on Tesla. Now, in fairness, if Dan does sound smarter than anyone thinks, he'll still probably sound like a moron because the bar's pretty low based on his past comments around Tesla. But let's give him a chance. Maybe he's right. Maybe instead of sounding like the actual dumbest motherfucker on planet Earth, he'll sound like the second or third dumbest motherfucker. Over to you, Dan.
Okay, so we just talked about Nike in China, right? So why did the stock rally 7% today? Because some third-party data about some China sales, okay? We know that they missed China sales last quarter. We know that they cut prices last quarter. We know that, we just talked about margins. We just talked about a U.S. multinational is guiding down for margins for the year. Well, guess what, people? Last year, gross margins for Tesla were 25.6%. This year, consensus has them at 22.14%. Is that incorporating the potential for a recession here in the U.S. or abroad? Is it pricing in any potential for all the competition that's coming online or any geopolitical issues as it might relate to China and Taiwan? So my point is, I actually think, flat to down EPS, which is what is consensus right now, might be the best case scenario, and margins could be under pressure further. So if this is a growth stock, if it's a margin story, and the margins and the earnings might be worse than what's expected right now, and I don't know how you could listen to everything I just said and not think that that's going to be the case, then the stock really should.
All right, stop. Did you guys catch that? Let's watch what just happened. Melissa Lee just laughed in Dan's face on air. She went from a smirk trying to hold it in to literally laughing out loud at this DMF. Obviously, because he sounds like a moron. Nothing he said makes sense.
Well, if it's a growth stock, but I think margins are going to go down. And geopolitical risks and the competition. And obviously, I don't understand how you could disagree with me. I'm not emotional. Everything I said was rational.
I don't know how you could listen to everything I just said and not think that that's going to be the case. Then the stock really should.
One more time, slow motion. Nothing else to add. Melissa Lee's response literally says it all.
That's going to be the case. Then the stock really shouldn't
be rallying, in my opinion.
The whole f***ing panel is laughing at this guy in his face. Why? Because he sounds like a f***ing moron. In fact, because he is a f***ing moron. I do not know what la la land this guy lives in, but it's clearly not reality. The fact that he was dumb enough to say out loud, I don't know how you could not agree with what I said because of all my great valid points that make no sense.
And the stock really shouldn't be rallying, in my opinion.
Guys laughing. It's almost like you're saying, I can't understand why you would listen to me and not believe everything that I just said because I am right.
This guy's getting absolutely f***ing barbecued and I don't think he even realizes it. Oh, man. I've never seen Melissa Lee just call this shit out so clearly and overtly. She's normally just, trying to pretend she's not laughing, bit of a smirk here and there. But the gloves are off today. Dan. I really don't like punching down intellectually. But again, if this guy's on TV, he's on the finance meter, he's sharing his opinions, there are people out there who automatically assume he's credible because he's on CNBC.
Which may be the case, but there is a whole other argument that says, well, right now, every other EV maker, including the legacy OEMs, are also cutting price. And there's an opportunity for Tesla, the growth stock, to actually grow and claim market share in the face of weakness from what had been viewed as the oncoming competition, which doesn't seem so fierce anymore.
Well, I didn't expect to be giving a seminar on body language today, but bro, Dan's reaction after Melissa Lee spits some facts, just like he shrivels. It's like a dog with his tail between his legs now. Watch.
Oncoming competition, which doesn't seem so fierce anymore. What do you think?
Well, clearly it shows pricing power in terms of their ability to kind of reduce costs, offer discounts, and look to take market share. I'm kind of with Dan, though. Like, when you have declining margins, it makes for, it flies in the face of long-term accretive accretive growth and stock performance. So, I do think it's somewhat of a challenging backdrop. With that said, there have been so many people that have been carried out trying to short Tesla that I just refuse to do it.
You know how much money was made short Tesla last year?
Another emotional outburst. The poor boy, child, infant, baby, dare I say, man-sized vagina. I won't get cancelled for that, will I? Is it rude to call an adult human male a gigantic vagina? Because I just did. He just can't help himself, right? Co-host has actually agreed with some of his points, as in margins might be coming down, therefore, oh no, the growth story's over. Let's ignore the fucking volume increases, you morons. But anyway, let's not go there. But Dan immediately, as soon as his co-host points out the fact that it's probably a really fucking dumb idea to be shorting Tesla stock because of the risk of it tearing higher, Dan immediately, do you know how much money short sellers made? Dan, the fact that short sellers made money shorting Tesla stock in 2022 does not mean that that was a good idea. And how can we assess this comment? Maybe I'm just some idiot who doesn't know what I'm talking about. Why would I say that? Let's think here. Since IPO, back in 2010, more than a decade ago, how many years did it make sense to be short Tesla stock? Maybe 2, 3 if you're lucky. Does this sound like a smart bet? And here's a better question. Has Tesla stock been known to move enormous amounts over short periods of time in both directions? Answer yes. And if that's the case, it is. And if it's true that shorting a stock potentially exposes you to literally unlimited losses, if you own the stock and it goes to 0, that's your maximum loss. But if you short a stock and it goes higher, you have infinite potential losses. The risk reward doesn't make sense. This is a fair statement, okay? If you're shorting Tesla stock, you are playing with fire. Co-host over here, recognize that. Look, even though I think the stock may come low, I'm not dumb enough to short the stock. It's not a good idea. And Dan's immediate response,
Do you know how much money shorts made last year?
That have been carried out trying to short Tesla that I just refuse to do it.
You know how much money was made short Tesla last year? $700 billion.
Okay,
I'm just saying,
how much money was lost before then? Those people were, how much money was lost before then? And how many of those people survived going into that situation?
I'm not saying was made on the short side, but what I'm saying is that it went from 1.2 trillion at the end of 2021 down to, what was it, $300 billion just, 2 months ago. So what I'm saying is we got a market here, okay? And it's pretty wide. And where the stock has been trading over the last few months is really at the low end of that. And so they actually have all of the risk. Every OEM on the planet, okay, is focused on their market share in EVs. All right, so they have the most to lose. Not a $55 billion market cap company like GM, which is going to, they're going to be around in 100 years, GM, okay? Like, the jury's still out, in my opinion, whether Tesla's going to be around. And you can say, well, they're not particularly profitable and this, that, whatever. But, that's the way I think about it. Who's got the most to lose? It's not GM and Ford.
So Dan's actual point, after being called out on the idiocy of shorting Tesla stock, was actually that Tesla has the most risk. Tesla is at great risk. Not legacy automotive manufacturers. Oh, and by the way, GM will definitely be around in 100 years, but I'm not so sure about Tesla. I'm not trying to be mean here, but I got to be honest, okay? This guy is literally the dumbest motherfucker in the finance meter, and it is no contest. I feel like it's unfair to platform somebody who's as intellectually impaired as this guy. I'm not trying to be derogatory, I'm just trying to be accurate. This guy is so incredibly dumb, it defies belief. He just said, you heard him, Tesla has the greatest risk. Tesla's at risk. The competition's coming on, by the way. GM will be around in 100 years, but I'm not so sure about Tesla. Idiot. For the record, it's absurd to suggest any company will be around in 100 years. That's such a long time frame. No one knows what the will happen between now and then. But the fact this guy's picked a fucking dinosaur that he's incredibly confident, adamant will be around in a century, this is evidence of this guy's complete and utter, widespread, comprehensive, all-encompassing brain damage. I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just calling a spade a spade. This guy's so fucking dumb, it's embarrassing. Rewind the clock about a century. If this guy was working in the finance media back then, I'm sure he would have had the same things to say about some of the more well-established horse and carriage manufacturers. They'll definitely be around in 100 years, but I don't know about these companies like Ford with their automobiles. I'd like to bring this to your attention, ladies and gentlemen. I saw this on Twitter a couple of days ago and was deeply disturbed. Read the caption here. Dan Nathan, as in the DMF we just heard from, has served as an advisor to Credit Suisse. You know what just happened with Credit Suisse, right? Investment banking group since 2017. Dear everyone, if there are any companies on earth paying this guy, well, his consulting firm, to advise them on anything, they're doomed. Dan has a company called Risk Reversal Advisors or some shit like that. The name of the company is implying avoidance of risk. Credit Suisse has been paying this idiot's company to advise them. The same Credit Suisse who were just forcibly taken over to avoid imploding. If there are any companies who currently have a relationship with this risk reversal, run. Just run. Well, while I enjoy some Athletic Greens AG1 and turn my brain on, let's hear from a guy whose brain has been offline for many years. This was Dan back in January, a little under 2 months ago.
They're worthless. I had a bad trade there. But again, I had some good ones on the downside last year here. And today I did buy that TSLAQ at, equivalent of $159 in the stock. It closed at 160 here today. And again, I'd love to see, the stock's probably going to 170 in the not so distant future. And I'd love to see what Carter's take is at that point. The fact of the matter is, listen, I don't have something against Elon. I just don't trust him. And people ask me all the time, what is one of the major reasons why you would buy a stock, why you would buy into a company? And management and their transparency and their trustworthiness and their ability to kind of execute to the things that they've said. And think about that conversation we just had about Intel. And and I don't believe him. And he has demonstrated on probably dozens of occasions over the last 10 years that he doesn't really, the truth is not something that he is solving to all the time. So there's thousands of other stocks out there that you can buy unless you think that this cult or this one in particular is so unique. And I'll just say the last thing, one of the reasons we talk about competition, it has been a pillar of the bear case for a long time, and bulls will tell you it just hasn't happened. Well, 40% of their sales come in China. They have less than 10% market share. Elon said on their call that their competition in China is the real deal. And I just think that that's the battleground for this company going forward. You think of the reliance on manufacturing there, the reliance on rare earth materials for the batteries over there. I just don't think this is a great story here.
Some guy replied in the comments, I tend to agree. He said, you can't fix stupid. Some other guy replied in the comments. Anyone ever heard of this Elon Musk? Haha, 100%. This doofus actually believes what the media writes about me. It's quite evident that what Dan lacks in intellectual capacity, he more than makes up for in emotion. And I think one of the single most important pieces of advice I can give people as it relates to investing is to leave your emotions at the door and also make sure that your brain is engaged and you're also using it before making any decisions. I know such a philosophy would be the antithesis of how Dan invests. Emotions are the enemy of every investor, and a functional brain is the friend of every investor. And in order for one's brain to function, one needs energy. In order for one's brain to function optimally, one needs optimal energy. And that's exactly why I take Athletic Greens AG1 every day. I can guarantee you, there is no way on earth that Dan is taking Athletic Greens AG1. If he were, I'm sure he wouldn't be self-immolating every single time he opens his mouth to say anything about Tesla on air. In fact, I don't think there's a single person currently shorting Tesla stock who takes Athletic Greens AG1 in the morning every day. Because if they did, their brain would probably be working, and if their brain was probably working, then they probably wouldn't be shorting Tesla stock unless they have a humiliation fetish, in which case, go for your life. In fact, maybe that's why Dan says what he does. That's probably, honestly, the most logical explanation, because I find it hard to understand why he would say what he says if he isn't trying to humiliate himself. He surely can't believe it. And if you'd like to be a little bit less like Dan, the DMF, and a little bit more like somebody who, when they open their mouth in the finance media, their entire panel of co-hosts isn't secretly or openly mocking, laughing, and ridiculing them, may I suggest taking Athletic Greens AG1 every day, as I do. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps, which we all have, some more than others, with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, adaptogens, and digestive enzymes. Everything's easier when you're feeling and performing your best, including your ability to think and reason, at least in my uninformed, unscientific opinion. It may be a coincidence, but since I started drinking Athletic Greens AG1 every day, I haven't sold any Tesla stock or shorted Tesla stock. Although I've only been drinking Athletic Greens AG1 for around 2 years, and I've been buying Tesla stock hand over fist for 7 years. Maybe it's a coincidence. It probably is. But in all seriousness though, optimizing your health, your energy, your ability to recover your work capacity, this is all the foundation for getting the most out of life. And if you're not taking Athletic Greens AG1 every day, you're really missing a trick. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls had to say about the impact Athletic Greens AG1 has had. A viewer recently left some feedback saying that after starting Athletic Greens AG1, had a massive impact on their social and overall anxiety. I thought, strange. I don't personally experience anxiety, so can anyone else leave some feedback? Similar results, or is this a one-off? Well, here's a few responses. Day 30 of Athletic Greens AG1, and I cannot explain to you how much better I'm feeling. Oh, believe me, I know how much better you're feeling. My social anxiety is so much better. I did not expect it to help so much, but it has. So apparently this wasn't an anomaly. I'm still kind of surprised, but I kind of get it because the adaptogens help the body cope with stress, feeling and performing your best, less likely to be in an anxious state. I feel energized, ready to do things. I've been staying on top of things for the first time in years. If you haven't tried it already, truly try it. I was a skeptic. I did not at all believe this was going to help, and it has, significantly so. Dear skeptics, I recommend following this advice. After all, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. Even if you're skeptical and you don't think it's going to work despite seeing countless testimonials over the last 2.5, 3 months, obviously you can't take a hint. But even if you're cripplingly skeptical, you've got to at least try it. If you don't feel and perform better, that's what the 90-day money-back guarantee is for. And if you head to athleticgreens.com/SMI, you get a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. I implore you guys and girls, just try it. Almost everyone who does feels and performs better, experiences a boost in energy. Some people a boost in mood. Others we're hearing a reduction in social anxiety. Another one. I don't have anxiety, but I feel my mental game has improved greatly with AG1. I didn't expect this to happen, but man, I really needed it. Anyone watching who could do with their mental game improving? One more. AG1. Okay. So I couldn't ignore all the talk, and it's been about 3 months now, and I've literally stopped drinking coffee because of it. Not even intentionally, I just don't have the need now. In truth, it's not actually that strange. Athletic Greens AG1 is brimming with ingredients to help boost energy, immunity, digestion, your ability to cope with stress, your work capacity, you name it. So I'm not surprised. In fact, an increase in energy and alertness and an ability to focus comes with the territory. And one more. This from a woman. AG1 is for the ladies. I've been drinking it for 2 months. My cycle used to be awful. No more. Headaches, nausea and cramps are history. Fatigue is a thing of the past. And in parentheses. And fellas, if she's never in the mood, get her some AG1. I have a funny feeling this female viewer of ours may have experienced a marginal increase in her libido since starting Athletic Greens AG1. Again, this would not surprise me. If you're giving your body what it needs to feel and perform your best, you've got enough energy, you're definitely going to be in the mood. Oh, and I guess this is a great way to bring things full circle and maybe recommend this to Dan after all. I think he's got some issues with his cycle. He appears to be on his period every single time he talks about Tesla. Might explain a few things. So Dan, if you're watching, I'm happy to sponsor your first year of Athletic Greens AG1. Just send me a DM. Just make sure you put in the DM. Hi, it's the DMF that you keep roasting for being wrong about Tesla. And just so I know it's you. So seriously, guys and girls, head to athleticgreens.com/SMR or use the link in the pinned comment. Start your daily health habit now. Let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks. And if you'd like to unlock over 300 exclusive videos and counting on all manner of topics, many of them far too spicy for YouTube, head over to Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. I'll see you over there. Love ya.